Alright everyone, welcome to another Tuesday review, this time of a game called Jotun. And you can tell from the name and how I'm pronouncing it, this is very much a Norse mythology inspired game. This game is not new by any means, it's been out for quite a while, it's gotten quite a bit of attention, which is probably why I haven't reviewed it or given my thoughts on it. But I have played this game to completion, at least an initial playthrough. I haven't done any like extra mode playthroughs on this or different mode playthroughs. However, I have played through the game, beaten the game, and now I'm going to give my thoughts on it. This game, you can only have one save file, and you can't do more than that, so if you start a new game, it is going to erase your previous game. We're going to start a new game to show you what the game is all about. So as we get into the game, you're going to see it has dialogue in both spoken word and in text. The language, from what I understand, they used Icelandic for the language, which is fairly close sounding to what we would expect original Viking to be. Probably not 100% exact, I'm guessing, but it at least does the narrative storytelling quite a big effect. It does a really big effect to it where it feels like you are playing an actual Viking throughout the entire game, and that you're actually hearing the lore firsthand from a Viking, which is really cool. It does have that really cool effect. Like I said, whether it's 100% accurate or not, I don't know. I can't really say for sure, but it definitely has the intended effect. Overall, the premise is we are a Viking warrior, female Viking warrior, who ends up drowning after the ship gets wrecked in a storm, and we die. So we're dead to begin with. And we don't go to Valhalla because we didn't die an honorable death. We died in the sea, basically. So now we have to prove ourselves, because we're given a second chance to prove ourselves, basically to let the gods see that we're worthy to go to Valhalla. This game, as you can see, has a very beautiful art style, and it is not shy about showing it off. Several times you'll have it zoom out like this to show off the landscape, to show off the world, and also to give you some like overall idea of where you're going to be going in the game, the overall map of the whole layout of the area that you'll end up in. So it serves both to show off the beautiful visuals of the game as well as to kind of give you an idea of the terrain where you're going to be going. Control-wise, movements are very smooth. You do have a dodge roll to move out of the way. There is a bit of a recovery after you dodge roll, so you can't just go right into movement. There's also a bit of a real ever so slight delay for swinging your axe, and then you have a heavy hit which has an even larger delay, which you kind of have to time correctly or use at the right time. So if an enemy or boss is stunned, that's the best time to use your heavy hit. This game, again, very heavy Norse mythology story, and there's a lot of dialogue and narrative that gets revealed as you play the game. So the game very much reveals itself as you kind of go through it, as you explore the worlds, as you discover things. And again, very rich in Norse mythology. And it's really cool that that's the in case. So you do have a map you can pause to view, kind of give you an idea of, hey, what's the overall layout? And that is kind of nice. Each level is going to have its own kind of thing that you have to deal with in mechanic. In this case, this first level, you have poison spore mushrooms that will give off these clouds of poisonous gas. And you have to kind of take refuge at these blue flowers, which will give you a safe area where you won't take any damage. And each area is going to have its own thing you have to unlock to find the ruin that you have to access in order to unlock a different area, unlock the area to the boss. And that's the premise of the game. Basically go through each section, find the ruin, move on to the next section, find the ruin, move on to the boss area, fight the boss. And it's a very simple premise, but it's how everything is set up. It's the storytelling and the amazing visuals of this game that really have it stand out as truly impressive. I mean, the hand-drawn animated characters as far as like your character, the bosses that you fight, the enemies that you fight. Very have a old animated movie kind of feel to them. Like think original Land Before Time, or the original like American Tale with a mouse named Fievel who comes over to America with his family, and there's a whole plot to get rid of the cats where they're at because the cats are evil. You know, that whole movie. Those kind of animated movies like that. Secret of Nim, again, it has that kind of feel to it, like a very nostalgic, old school kind of feel. And it is kind of cool. The best way to describe this game, honestly, is it's a Souls-like. It is a top-down Souls-like that is a narrative experience. It is a brutal game. Like the difficulty is up there. You're not going to have an easy time here. You're going to be having a time where you want to make sure you learn how to play the game, learn the game's mechanics, and use them to the best of your ability, and get good at doing so. That being said, I have beaten this game, so if I can do it, it's not unapproachable. It is entirely doable. Now mind you, the final boss was a whole 2-hour playthrough, live on stream of me just dying until I finally beat it. But there is something in this game about the constant failing and eventually doing it, eventually succeeding, where you do have that amazing feeling of like, hey, I did it. I succeeded. I beat this game. I conquered these giant bosses. I conquered these tough boss battles. It really is an amazing feeling. Each section of the game, each kind of area of the game is gonna have a statue like this that will grant you an ability. In this case, we get the healing ability. There are multiples of these statues which will just grant you more of each ability, and there are a variety of abilities that you'll acquire in the game that will make it easier, kind of give you an easier time with the bosses, give you a chance to succeed. And like I said, the biggest focus on this is going to be the boss battles. You do have levels, but the biggest focus is on the boss battles, and this is kind of the first boss right here, which he's not very big. He's pretty strong. He doesn't take a lot of damage when we hit him, but he starts growing as he takes damage and he gets bigger. Learn how to avoid the boss's patterns. Learn when to dodge, to not get too greedy when you attack. And just know when to attack. Learn to sometimes dodge through the legs because they are giant bosses. And you can go between their legs to take advantage of avoiding their attacks. It's like basically hit the ankles. The weak points are the ankles, apparently. So is this game fun? I'm gonna say this game can be. Absolutely, it can be fun if you are into this kind of gameplay. If you like games that challenge you to push beyond your abilities, to get better, to learn how to play the game, to learn the game's mechanics, and learn how to best play the game and survive, then yes, this game absolutely is a fun game. If you're not into games like that, if you want a easier time, like you don't want a punishing game or a game that really challenges you to get good, then I would say don't get this game. It's not a bad game by any means. It's just not a game that's going to appeal to everyone. So, with that being said, that's my review of this game. I encourage you, again, if you're into this kind of game, definitely get it. Because just looking at this, the hand-drawn animation, how beautiful the game looks, it's definitely worth checking out. Because these boss battles right here are so worth it, so worth your time, so worth just going through. And just experiencing for yourself. And then when you finally do get past the boss, and you finally beat that boss, and you survive, and you're like, yes, I did it. I made it through. Right there, beating that boss, getting through and actually completing that stage and that boss. That feeling of success, that's what the game is all about. So yeah, if you're into this difficulty, you'll enjoy this game. If you're into games that make you get good, you'll like this game. If not, pass on this game. I mean, overall, the price of this game is around $15 across the board on several platforms. I'll put links down below if you want to check the game out. But yeah, definitely is worth it. Definitely is a good time. And I encourage you to try it. Thank you so much for getting to the end of my video. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. You are amazing. Be sure to check out my other videos if you would like. And of course, if you'd like standard YouTube, like, share, subscribe. You don't have to, but if you want to, feel free. But thank you so much for just getting to the end. So we'll see you next time. Until then, stay awesome, my friends, and we'll see you then.